Is something a little bit different. It's video games on DVD. Maybe some of the first technically cross-play games. As you see, they are both PlayStation 2 and Xbox compatible. And this is because these aren't game discs, these are DVD. These are all DVD versions of games from American Laserdisc Games, who made a bunch of light gun games on Laserdisc way back in the early 90s. And then this developer here, Digital Leisure, came along and decided to remaster them for DVD. Now, some of you people who are in the know might notice that these all American Laserdisc games, but there are a notable omission, and that is Mad Dog McCree. And the reason for that is that that was the big one from American Laserdisc Games, and the first game that was really popular and really kickstarted their business. And because of that, that's the game that also has been ported everywhere. So I was kind of a little bit tired of it when I bought all these DVDs here. So I never picked that one up. And because I didn't pick that up at the time, they are impossible to find now. I haven't been able to find them anywhere, but just to fill out that gap, I did buy this one, the Mad Dog McCree Gunslinger Collection for the Nintendo Wii, which contains Mad Dog McCree 1 and 2, as well as The Last Bounty Hunter.
Looking at my keys, stranger? You wouldn't be trying to get the sheriff out of jail now, would you? Chaco! Well, show him what we did.
The Nintendo Wii version of the game plays exactly as you might expect. It's a light gun game after all, so you just aim the cursor around on the screen, shoot the bad guys, and shoot off screen to reload your gun.
Stranger, I'll forever beholden to you. I know you're looking for the Mad Dog. Remember one thing, both best. Here's the keys.
Compared to many other home versions of the game, the gun sounds come from the built-in speaker in the Wii remote this time around, and they all sound horrendous, glitchy and horrendous.
Let's kick some butt.
But we're here to talk about the DVD games, and let me start by saying that they visually are a huge step up from the MS-DOS version that I used to play back in the day. They truly done a great job at remastering these games with increased visual fidelity and frame rate.
I'll take a left.
Don't shoot!
Taking a look at Crime Patrol running side by side here, it's quickly revealed how the technology actually works. It's not like on a PC or on a console where you have a light gun or a mouse cursor that you can move around to quickly dispatch enemies. It's more like an elaborate DVD menu where you move the crosshair around the screen, and instead of shooting wildly until you run out of ammo or hit something, you have to line up your shot. You only have like one shot and have to click on the right spot on the screen in order to hit the enemy and progress.
Save the state some money on that one.
Because it takes that much longer to line up a DVD cursor, the game actually does a favor and kind of pauses the action for a few seconds, giving you time to move into position and click on the right place on the screen. But it is only an extra second or two, so you still have to be relatively fast in order to progress.
Freeze, sucker!
I give up! I give up! Don't shoot me!
Starting out with Crime Patrol here, this is probably the one that I'm most nostalgic about, because this is the one that I had that wasn't Mad Dog McCree. And what's better than being a policeman and just blowing criminals away every day? As the game progresses, you rise in the rank from being a beat cop to undercover to SWAT. And Crime Patrol is also the one that has probably one of my favorite line out of all the American Laserdisc games.
Winners don't do drugs. After him!
Simply amazing. And it's also a nice little time window looking into the 90s, all the clothes, all the stuff, all the locations. And these weren't cheap games to make. They went all out on stunts and explosions and excuses to film in a strip club.
Let's take him!
Scenes like this in the game where the camera is locked down is also one of the places where the game kind of differs from something like Virtua Cop by having random enemy placement. It's not all linear, all the same every time. They cut the video up and lets the game put them in a random order, which usually isn't a very great visual effect, as you can see from the dancer kind of glitching around there on the right. But hey, it does add something.
Don't shoot!
Hey, tough guy! Are you looking for me? Vamos, come a little closer. I am Lopez. Lopez, the narcotics king. Take a look around, tough guy. Nice, huh? I have the mansion, I have the money, I have the drugs, I have the power. So what makes you think a little cockroach like you can find me in my lab, huh?
Moving on to Crime Patrol 2 Drug Wars. This is a direct sequel, which is another beautiful look into 90s fashion and cars and guns and stuff. But as the name implies, this time you are facing off against a regular cartel Scarface knockoff. And you start off your career by joining the county sheriff before being upgraded to Chicago Vice and following the drug money all the way down across the border.
Let's take him!
Commander of Colonial Star 1. We are under attack. Repeat, under attack. My ship has been overrun.
Next up is Space Pirates. This is the sci-fi one, where someone had access to a lot of ridiculous costumes, a steel mill, a fog machine, and some 3D CGI artists able to produce mind-blowing 3D graphics.
American Laser Games presents Space Pirates!
Pirates are armed to the teeth. This is a chance to improve your aim.
This one starts out with a shooting gallery where you have to shoot incoming rocks, and it's impossible to do. The window to shoot them is so short and they move so fast. Thankfully, it isn't mandatory. It doesn't really matter how you perform in this section. You don't lose any lives. You can just move on until the real game. You don't lose any lives. You can just move on into the real game.
Nice shoot.
Hi, it's a Star Ranger.
This is purely personal and anecdotal, but I also always had a preference for sci-fi stuff over modern stuff, or especially over Western and old stuff. I feel like Western stuff was kind of like a cop-out. I mean, you knew what they wore back then. You could always go to like a dedicated Western town built in the US and maintained, and put on some cowboy clothes and shoot a Western. That's easy enough. But with a sci-fi movie, you have to come up with all these kind of creative ways to make it feel like it's in the future. You know, laser guns, crazy outfits, cyborgs, robots, all kinds of cool stuff. More than previous games, Space Pirates also have more random elements going for it. There's more random scenes, more random enemies, and even some places where you have to make some choices based on the information given earlier. You kind of gotta remember stuff. Puzzle solving, if you will.
Shoot the blue light!
We're free! Come on, let's go!
We're free! Commander Sky is on the bridge!
To the transporter room!
Any attempt to come to her aid will be met with certain extermination. You see this black hole? It was Parallax did this to me. Now I will answer him with his own star splitter. This galaxy is mine!
Who can stop this mad pirate?
There's someone to see you, boss.
As soon as I saw her, I knew she was trouble.
I'm in trouble, and I need your help.
Then I made my first.
Here we have Who Shot Johnny Rock. And with this one, I feel like American Laser Games really got creative with the gameplay design. See, it's not just a completely linear story. It does have multiple endings, a murder mystery, classic gumshoe tale where a beautiful lady steps into your office and tells you her boyfriend has gotten killed. So you need to travel around town to investigate the suspects by shooting a bunch of people and having the suspects, each of them, give you a clue for the items that you need to shoot in Johnny Rock's office, which in turn will reveal a code for his safe, which contains the identity of the true killer, and it can't be any of the 4 suspects, thus creating a game that invites you to play through it multiple times.
You're crazy. You're gonna end up a corpse just like Johnny.
I told Lil I just wanted the facts.
I loved Johnny. I was gonna make him a star.
Then I told the bleeding heart I just wanted her clue to Johnny's combination.
This is what you need to look for.
Getting back to the technology behind these games, I'm actually very impressed with how Digital Leisure managed to wrangle a DVD player to be able to do all this. Keep in mind, this is not much different from a DVD menu where you just move a reticle around instead of picking options on a menu. But these games are able to keep track of how many lives you've had, what kind of clues you've gathered, and which path you took in the game. It's honestly never something I really thought that you could get out of a DVD menu. So I think this is some pretty cool stuff considering the hard limitations of the format.
No money? Get him out of here!
Out of money, out of luck. That's the name of the game.
You're that famous bounty hunter the whole town's a-buzzing about, huh? So you're gonna take on those 4 vicious outlaws? Well, you got guts.
The Last Bounty Hunter is the final American Laserdisc Games DVD that I have in my collection. I don't want to say it might have been a little bit harsh on Western games earlier. Certainly not lazy in any capacity. They blow a lot of stuff up and smash a lot of windows here. So they didn't just go and visit some theme park, Wild West theme park for the weekend. They spent a lot on set design, special effects, and some real great quick draw artists as well.
Me!
Last and certainly least, there's the Cactus Kid.
Bounty hunter, I got an arch reserve right here.
In Chinatown, if you end up stiff, it's not from too much starch.
Here's something you don't see in a lot of cowboy-themed things, be it games, movies, TV series, whatever, and that is the massive amount of Chinese immigrants who helped to build the railroad and a lot of the infrastructure in the Old West. But at least American Laser Games remembers, if not to maybe a little bit of stereotypical extreme degree here.
We don't need you around here, bounty hunter.
Hey, Sheriff! Of course, I could be wrong.
So these are all the American Laser Games. Now the question is, are they fun to play on DVD? No. Have you seen how much it starts and stops constantly every time you have to line up a shot? It completely ruins the flow of the original games. They do look very good. This is probably the best the games looked in 2001. But if you really want to play these games these days, I suggest emulating them on your PC. Because these days you have dedicated emulators for all these old Laserdisc games and they play them exactly as they were intended. Instead of on a DVD here where your options are extremely limited. I mean, they are playable, barely, but I do have one more DVD which certainly almost isn't.
Hey, you don't want me. I'm unarmed. Okay, I give up. Even you can see that I'm way too good looking for jail. What do you think?
Now, Digital Leisure didn't just put out American Laser Games, light gun games. They also put out a bunch of other games like Don Bluth's Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. And one of those I've bought here is Time Traveler.
Hologram, the time travel fantasy where you journey through the centuries on a perilous quest to rescue the beautiful princess and save the universe from the wrath of an evil
Time Traveler is a game similar to Space Age or Dragon's Lair in the way that it's pretty much just a series of quick time events. You see what's happening on the screen and then you just time your presses in order to progress. Hey, the same as any video game, right? If you really break it down, but you know what I mean. The gimmick with the original Time Traveler arcade machine is that it's a game that projects holograms, as they call it. It's really kind of just like a bit of trickery with mirrors, but it did give a very cool effect that felt like you were looking at a hologram, much like something out of Star Trek. And the idea at the time was to create a game so unique that you couldn't replicate it on a home console. Of course, this DVD doesn't really replicate it either. They do pack in some old school blue and red 3D glasses and have a way to play the game in some pretty unconvincing old school 3D, but it's not quite the same as the holographic arcade original. This DVD acts more as a historical piece, as it's also filled with news segments and various other videos showing the real game in motion and showing you something that you still cannot replicate on a home console. It's pretty fascinating stuff, and it more than makes up for the fact that the game is borderline unplayable. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier with how DVD menus are designed in such a way that they can only accept one input, and that has to be the correct input. As you see the kids playing the game here, you can tell that they are mashing the buttons, which you cannot do here. You have to input the correct thing, and it's almost impossible to pass what you're supposed to do. The idea is that the cowboy, the main character, if there's an enemy to the left, you push left and then press the fire button to dispatch that enemy. But if there's another enemy on the left, you're not supposed to push left again, you're just supposed to press fire. So you can't mash it out. If you do press left again, that'll be a game over state. It seems Digital Leisure was aware of this, which is why they also gave you an option to just watch the game being played. All in all, with all these games on DVD being barely playable, I will say that it's very commendable that Digital Leisure set out to do this thing that they did, bringing old school obscure Laserdisc games out to the masses. It will probably be a better project to do in today's day and age, where you can put it out on real game systems with real controls. But as it stands, these DVDs remain as a historically interesting way to experience the Laserdisc games of yesteryear. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.